Hey everyone, welcome to Links and Dinks of the Tarot cards. This is Links and Dinks of the Fool. And the Fool has so much associated with it that it's hard to know where to begin. Feels like you can't begin or end with the Fool. You'll see why during this presentation. There is something known as the Fool's Journey. It's also known as the Hero's Journey, as every hero starts off as a fool. When you're born, you know nothing of this world, and you are easily fooled. You might find yourself thinking, oh no, he's got my nose. Then, it's okay, it was behind my ear this whole time. You will start out in this world as a nobody, and nothing, as zero, and that's the number of the fool. The number zero, okay, zero is not a number, but it's the absence of a number, the empty space that could house any number. But this is why it's perfect, especially for the fool. This represents the fool's unlimited potential. The fool has the ability to become any of the other cards. It's a wild card. As every single one of us is the fool, it's up to us to go from zero to hero, or even anti-hero. The zero is represented with a circle, representing the beginning and the end of a journey. The zero looks like an egg, which could hatch to become anything. It also looks like a ring, which symbolizes forever or eternity. The Fool to the Major Arcana is like the ace of any suit in the regular playing card decks, because it can be seen as the highest or lowest card. It could be seen as the number 0 or the number 22. And being nothing means that you are free of all attachments. It could be number 0 or number 22. And as number 22 is the master mother number, that also represents a cycle, often never ending. And being no thing means you are free of all attachments and things and have the freedom to become anything. Each card aligns with a letter from the Hebrew alphabet, and to make matters more confusing, the Fool is associated with the letter Aleph, which represents the number 1 or 1000. The Aleph is made up of other Hebrew letters. There's a Yod above, a Yod below, and they are both separated and connected by this Vav in the middle. And it's fashioned in an as above, so below position. This represents coming into duality, the separation of the God and the man, the separation of the waters from the waters, where something like 70% water, and water is the first element on the periodic table. Adam, the first man, representative of Adam, which is a construct that blocks things off from water. Adam and Eve leaving Eden was them going on the fool's journey, and you'll see them later in the Lovers and the Devil card. The 6th and the 15th cards, and 1 and 5 is 6. So both their cards represent 6, which is material, the material world, which is where they went. The Yod represents the source of creation. It's known as the little that holds a lot. It's so small but contains within it everything in the universe. This accurately describes both the God and the man. The God had to constrict and contract itself to have space to begin creation. This is a process known in Jewish mysticism as Zimzum. In singularity, all that exists is God. In order for something else to exist, God must create space for it to exist by reducing the amount of God that there is in the field. Once that space is created, something can then be placed in that space that would be different from God. As God separates, everything that is separated still contains God, who is everything and is in everything, including the empty space that is made. So God creates something that isn't God, but as God is used as the material to make it, it will always contain God. Simple, right? A bit like cutting a magnet in half. You cut the red and blue poles in half, and then both halves have a red and blue half. The polarity is always there. You don't get one without the other. The Yod is the first letter in Yod He Vav He, the Tetragrammaton, also known as Yehovah or Yahweh. Yod is also the first letter of Yeshua, the name Jesus comes from, and Jehovah comes from Yahovah. The Hebrew alphabet doesn't have a J sound, but interestingly, the J and the Yod are both the 10th letters of the alphabets they belong to. The names give wordplay that suggests we are the child of the divine. Jesus is Je suis in French, meaning I am. Yeshua sounds like you sure? Yeshua. JC was made in Yod's image. The Aleph represents the numbers 1 and 1,000. Both contain a 1 and would be considered equal in numerology, because even though 1 is a lot smaller than 1,000, in numerology you don't count the zeros. So meaning the Yods either side of the Vav have both got a value of 1. Both ones are the same 1. The separation is the illusion. The Vav creates the division and holds the pieces together. The Vav is the 6th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The Vav is represented with a vertical line that connects the up there to the down here in the Vav. The material world is represented by the Vav. The Vav appears in Yod He Vav He. He means look or behold. Also, adding it to a word makes the word a definite article. Haba would be the father, as Abba is father. The He is made up of a Dalet and a Yod. The Dalet represents form. It is the 4th letter, associated with time, as its Greek counterpart delta is associated with time differentials. 4 is also related to time. 4 seasons, 4/4 timing is standard timing structure. Even in science, time is known as the 4th dimension, and the word time has 4 letters. The Yod being with the Dalet in the He represents God being with us in time and in all forms of physicality, in every definite article. As God is present, this would be considered a gift or a blessing. So He can also be a gift. He also means divine breath, which is the gift of life and the gift of God, also known as the Spirit, as in respiration. Yod is God constricted, and Vav is related to reflection. An oversized Vav is in the very center of the Torah, in the middle of the word gorkon, meaning belly. The Romanized spelling of the word Vav, V-A-V, is a palindrome, meaning it reads the same in reverse. Pronounced Vav in modern Hebrew, its old pronunciation was Wow. Fitting because it is amazing. I'm coming back to the fool, I promise. The Vav reflects and connects. Vav is the 6th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The number 6 is a 9 coming back the other way, and 9 is divine. Man was made in God's image. 6 represents matter and the material realm. If you imagine God in the spiritual realm being able to extend indefinitely without barriers, this will carry on for eternity. A physical barrier being made enables a reflection or a return. The 6 is effectively a mirror, and the word mirror has 6 letters. So Yod He Vav He is God breathes, man breathes, or source, look, reflection, behold, or spirit form with God, material form with God. Creator presence, return presence. God gifts, man gifts. As well as the Yod He Vav He representing the way you breathe. is breathing in. A is the presence as the lungs exchange oxygen for carbon dioxide. Is breathing out. Then the breath trades its carbon dioxide with the trees for oxygen. It's an eternal loop. It's incredibly complex. Before even applying any personality to the one receiving the breath, anybody from the outside could see the unlimited potential from anyone receiving the breath of God. When we say unlimited potential, it's not just the potential to live every possible variety of great life, but also the potential to bugger it up completely and in new and original ways. The Fool coming up in your reading can indicate that you would benefit from applying your sense of humor. He's a wild card, but not quite like the Joker, as the Joker represents insanity and madness. The Fool is a Joker, but not necessarily a mad one. Unless, of course, he turns up reversed. I did stand-up comedy for a while, very dark stuff, and I didn't feel comfortable telling jokes on stage in front of an audience until I'd gotten used to telling them out loud in a room by myself. So I developed the ability to talk out loud to myself like a madman. There is a level of madness that comes from being a Joker. The legend goes that every actor who ever played the Joker in Batman films went insane after taking on the role. The Fool in reverse could mean you have become delusional or insensitive. There's a positive and negative side to every card, same as good and bad in every person. Reverse cards in a reading often provide the flip side of the theme and the opposite attributes of the card. If the Fool card screams, "Say yes," the reversed Fool is screaming, "No!" The word fool backwards is loof, a sailing term that the word aloof comes from. Aloof is a nautical term. From Middle English, sailors would shout "aloof" to steer clear of a hazard on the leeward side of the ship. Today, aloof means distant, apart, away, reserved, or cold, and is often used to describe someone who is not warm and friendly and doesn't like to spend time with others. The opposite of the Fool. The Fool is associated with the zodiac sign Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. So the Fool is also associated with Uranus, which suggests that the Fool is already spiritually enlightened to begin with, which would make sense as the Fool is on a loop. Aquarius is the 11th sign, another 1 and 1 association like the Yod and Yod either side of the Vav. They both represent 10, and 1 plus 0 is 1. Also, like the Aleph representing both 1000 and 1, 1001 is 11 if you remove the zeros. 11 is the master father number in numerology, and even the name 11 sounds like it has an Aleph in. It represents the Aleph in you. Aleph is the master provider. Abba means father in Hebrew, and the second letter Beit means house. The Aleph and the Beit make up the father, as the father is the master provider of the house. Shout out to Paul, the black sheep researcher. I think of him whenever I see the number 11 now, thanks to his research on the number 11. And he is a father too, so presumably a master father. I'll leave you a link to his work in the description of this video. Aquarius is the water bearer. It is an air sign. Note the word air is in Aquarius phonetically, as is the word aqua. And the water and air is like the separation of the waters from the waters below and the waters above. The water from the spirit, like splitting the H from the two O's. H is the first element. O is the eighth. Notice the word oct in oxygen. Oct is 8 in Greek. Two O's would be 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. Linked to the rainbow colors that are split from the sun, which is said to be 70% hydrogen and 28% helium. Helium gets its name from the sun, which the Greeks called Helios. The sun is often referred to as the hero. The sun is in the Fool card, shining down on the zero as he starts his journey. The zero travels with the hero, and you'll always find the sun and the mother together. Sun is 54 in gematria, and 5 and 4 is 9, the mother number. 9 months that your mother carries you in the womb. Though as the Fool is considered both the start and the end of the Major Arcana, it is interesting that the year was said to begin in Aries, the first sign, and in the middle of Aries is April Fool's Day, the first day of April, where people play practical jokes on each other, which is also a tradition started to make fun of those who believed that the year starts in April. They are fools. The year starts in March, not April. If the year started in April, then September would be the 6th month, wouldn't it? So let's have a look at the card. The Fool is the first card that appears in the Major Arcana and is believed to be the most influential, positive, and powerful card. It has a limitless freedom. You can see that his features are effeminate. It is a journey for both males and females. You see the sun there with its smiley face, shining down on our hero from the east. The Fool is facing the west, suggesting he is on a journey to the west, like Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, or like our sun, as it rises in the east and sets in the west. Also Son Goku, who rides the Nimbus cloud. The sun is always with the hero, even when he's still a zero. The sun, Son, is a boy. Harry Potter was the boy who lived, and didn't he ride the Nimbus 2000? You can see him wearing a white undershirt. Hang on, let me use the picture that has color. There, that should help. I know, the drawing isn't as good. The sun doesn't even have a smiley face, but they did include colors, so it should make this part easier. His undershirt is white, representing purity and a blank canvas. On top of this is a colorful floral pattern dress, showing the Fool has no idea about practicality and has chosen his attire based on looks and feelings. He wears yellow tights and boots representing the manifestation of the sun as he starts becoming the hero from the ground up. His attire represents the ability to live each day carefree and without worry. The Fool leads with his left foot, and the left represents the direction of the unconscious or automatic self. He appears to be headed over a cliff and into a free fall. He follows his heart over the edge, but he doesn't actually fall, and neither will you when you're ready to make your jump, when you are finally ready to make your leap of faith. But don't rush it. Many get delusional and go too soon. One day a lemming will fly and take the world by surprise, but many lemmings who aren't ready will go splat. So I'm not saying jump off a cliff, but the Fool in a reading represents taking risks and trusting your own intuition in life. The red feather symbolizes the flame of life, representing the Fool's mortality as the flame eventually burns out. This suggests he leads with his heart and soul instead of his basic instincts. The white rose in the left hand symbolizes freedom from baser desires, purity, simplicity, loyalty, innocence, eternity, new beginnings, liberation, and freedom. The rose represents the ability to let go of past baggage and embrace one's true self when starting new beginnings. The rose symbolizes innocence and purity, representing the childlike nature we all have, like Adam and Eve before they tried to cover up their nakedness. The mind of the Fool is a clean slate with no prior judgments or preconditions. White roses were also once upon a time used to indicate confidentiality or the keeping of a secret, also associated with the phrase, "the best is yet to come." This is used at funerals. This could indicate that the best would be reuniting with those we have lost at the end of our journey. The Death card also features a white rose. The knapsack symbolizes optimism and a sense of lightness in embracing the unknown. It hangs from a staff and is thought to contain genetic memory and instinct. The eagle on the front symbolizes Scorpio, which rules the genitals, the sacral area, meaning what is in the pouch is sacred. They say that what's in the sack is all the tools that you need to become the magician. The staff is black, symbolizing the unconscious mind, indicating that the fool can only manifest things from the unconscious mind in his present state. This staff appears again in the deck, notably in the Six of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. He travels with a white dog who represents loyalty and instincts. He's trying to warn the fool about the cliff edge, symbolizing that the fool should be willing to accept help from companions along the way. If the fool is willing to take notice of the dog, he will avoid danger, as the word dog is a reflection of God. It could be another reminder, like the Yod and Dalet in the hay, that God is always with all of the fools on their journeys, giving messages in many ways that we only notice if we have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. The dog is following the fool, indicating that the fool is no longer following his animal desires. He has stepped up as a leader and has nature following him. The mountains behind the fool symbolize ascending obstacles and reaching a higher level. The rise in consciousness as the material world is the furthest from source. And once we're down here, the only way is up, or round in circles. So to summarize, the fool can represent new beginnings, the start of a journey, or the willingness to take the first step in a new adventure. Risk-taking, taking risks for greater growth, and trusting your intuition rather than other people's opinions. A leap of faith. The fool can be assigned to take a leap of faith and dive headfirst into the unknown. Playfulness. The Fool card can be a reminder to approach each new experience with a sense of joy and possibility, and not to be afraid of failure. Optimism. The Fool encourages optimism, enthusiasm, and curiosity. It represents naivety in a good way. It can also mean that you should take a chance on an opportunity without overthinking it, as you might miss out on experiences that will help you grow. Loyalty and protection. The Fool card can symbolize loyalty, protection, and guidance. Caution. When reversed, the Fool card can advise caution when making decisions. Also could indicate that new opportunities are being blocked by foolish thinking or irrational impulses. The Fool reversed could mean you have become delusional and need to listen to the warnings from your loyal companions like the dog to avoid a serious downfall. This is one of the reasons I think it's important to use reverse cards in tarot readings, otherwise the meaning of the presence of the card can be a lot harder to read. The Fool's Journey. In many esoteric systems, the Fool card is the protagonist of a story, and the Major Arcana cards represent the path the Fool takes through life. This path is known as the Fool's Journey. Jeannie Lynch has an incredible video on the Fool's Journey through the Major Arcana. I watched it 3 times when I first saw it, 3 times in a row. I'll leave a link in the description and would highly recommend it to anyone interested in taking the Fool's Journey or learning more about it. But be warned, watching it could change your life forever. Zero and boundless potential. The Fool can represent unlimited potential and endless possibilities. Zero is a loop with no beginning and no end, so it represents the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, the Aleph and the Tav, the Ouroboros serpent or Jormungandr in Norse mythology that eats its own tail, representing the eternal cycle of destruction and rebirth, or infinity. This means that the whole wide world with its cyclical nature is out there ready to be shaped, manifested, and discovered. A journey is beginning, and you must show up knowing that you have no idea what's ahead. There's a naive sort of trust that you have to align with in order to walk the path ahead of you. Be open and realize all expectations. Shed your fear. Start with a clean slate. The Fool is a gentle nudge from the universe, urging you to break free from your comfortable habits and routines, and to try something spontaneous, carefree, and yes, even risky. The secret source of this card lies in your ability to embrace what the Fool truly has to offer, let go of fear, and have faith in, and without ego or an inflated sense of pride, trust yourself, even when others doubt you. The Fool's archetype revolves around having the freedom to experience positive new adventures and remind you to keep your sense of humor. His appearance sends the message: everything is possible right now as long as you believe. So, to act like the Fool, you could begin something new, head fearlessly into the unknown, live in the moment, give something up, let go of your expectations, surprise someone, do something unexpected, do something unexpected, act on an impulse, take a different route home, live in joy, trust the flow, stay true to yourself, and believe. Fool was borrowed from Old French and, like folly, ultimately goes back to the Latin follis, which is an inflated ball. A windbag, in this sense, is used to mean an airhead. Air is the element associated with the mind, and Aquarius, the sign associated with the Fool. The Fool in the Kabbalah is the path between Keter and Chukma. Keter is from Keter, meaning crown, the hidden light or concept of Ein Sof, meaning boundless source of divinity. It is closely associated with the word Ein, meaning nothing. As Sof means end, Ein Sof means no end, or the one without an end. The Ein Sof is understood as the deity before creation, and is a single infinite unity beyond any description or limitation. So just like the Fool, Keter represents the number zero and infinite potential. The second fear, Chukma, is considered to be the initial spark of creation, like the first recognition of order through chaos. If Keter was the Big Bang, Chokma would be the forming of the zodiac. In Kabbalah, Chukma represents intellect that comes from an inspiration or teaching rather than a rational process. Chukma is often associated with Sophia, who represents divine wisdom. The Fool is walking the first path from formless potential towards divine wisdom, holding the binary energy of the zero and the one, as well as the infinity. This is the divinity of the Fool. Our divinity is the zero as we move from the Fool to the magician, who is the one, the first card in the Major Arcana. The Fool in Gematria is 81. Like beginning 81, which fits as we all begin as a fool. Source 81, as we are all connected to Source, even in our experience of duality and separation. Arrival 81, as this is how things were when we arrived and how we arrived here. On Earth 81, that's Mother Earth. 8 and 1 are 9, and 9 is the mother number, 9 for the 9 months she carried you in her womb. All material things are of the mother. Matter means mother in Latin, of course. Course 81. Every course we take starts out as a fool's journey. It's the standard 81, here for us always. That's always 81. We can go any direction we choose. And when we're done, we can do another 81. It could be a completely new path or one that's similar 81. You and me going round and round are what you would call a looper 81. If you get sick of being the main character, then you can play a wingman 81. We can play any mortal role. We all die, but we can revive 81 and be born again 81, like we're playing a video game 81. The Holy Spirit provides us with this service 81, where we keep it moving as we are the motor 81. Motor, as in Taurus, like a Taurus field. The star sign Taurus is ruled by Venus 81, our mother, our Mator. Motor, as Mother Earth is the heart of the game. When we start playing, we make our profile 81. We can take any path. God, Satan, 81. What I do in my journey is my choice, 81. This experience is given to us by the grace of God, 81, as we are God's child, 81. This is our cosmic egg, 81, that we have been gifted. We should recognize above all else that we can honestly say the words, I am loved, 81. We are all the designer, 81. We just forgot, 81, because of the veil, 81. When you see through the veil of forgetfulness, you see the sublime, 81, and learn to govern your own mind. Govern is 81, and means to steer. The man is the head of the house, but the woman is the neck that guides it. This is because Taurus rules the neck, and Venus rules Taurus. When you see the messages from the divine through the veil, that's how we receive our daily bread, 81, as bread refers to knowledge. Honest, 81, comes from the word honor. If you honor thy father and mother, what you receive will be from a place of honesty. When we receive messages of the truth, it's hermetic, 81. The gnosis of the original Masons, 81, who underwent a ritual, 81, to get their hidden powers to activate, 81. This helped them to evolve, 81, and become the wizard, 81, as the first card after the fool is the magician. Masonic groups have been infiltrated by evil people, but they were initially all about providing you with the key to unlock your true self and become free. Freeing Mars' sons. As you go through the keyhole, 81, you will feel awesome, 81, and incredible, 81. And if you don't make the jump, then all in all, you're just another brick in the wall, 81. Pink Floyd references aside, the wall represents our background or barriers, and both would come from the material of the Divine Mother. Our mother and father have given us the tools, 81, that we need to become talented, 81. But with these tools and talents, we still have the freedom to become sinful, 81. And sin is from sine, meaning without in Latin. The moon is negative. The moon is of the mother. The Sumerian moon god is sin. To sin means to act without virtue. I'm not judging anybody, by the way. I've done some crazy stuff in my time. But if you've been choosing sex magic 81 or gay sex 81, you've got to be careful. Having the experience is one thing, but to repeat the actions without noticing the signs that you have moved away from the natural path could end up with you being injured, 81. You could deplete vital minerals through seed wasting or become incontinent and unable to hold in your waste or your sacral fluids. Even taking mind-altering substances like mescaline, 81, can present you with a new kind of problem, 81. Your sanity can end up in ruins, 81. You could give yourself a permanent sadness, 81, or cause upset, 81, for others as they mourn, 81, for the person you used to be. You could end up feeling awkward, 81, around everybody. Though if you find yourself thinking, I'm dying, 81, and heading to the innermost circles of the inferno, 81, that Dante described, what you can do is confess, 81, as admitting you have a problem is the first step. Address the elephant, 81, in the room. The elephant has memory. The mammary gland is what makes a mother and a mammal. Mime in Hebrew is water, made up of a yod and two mems. And water has memory. The memories you hold shape the world around you. You could use your eyeballs, 81, to see straight away. Lines are masculine, circles are feminine. The eyes are spherical. The line of sight coming out of them is masculine, like the line coming out of the circle in the Mars glyph. You need to study every anomaly, 81, until you can explain 81 well enough so that any fool or child could understand. It's helpful to keep the childlike honesty, especially with yourself. Is it really worth lying to yourself? You're only going to be fooling yourself. A lot of these words describe the foundation of our existence. Structure usually comes in fours. Standard time signature is 4-4. Four elements. And tables and chairs generically have four legs. So it makes sense for square to be 81. And 81 is a square number. And it's 9 nines. You need a solid foundation, or you could end up with the whole tower, 81, falling down on you, like the Tower of Babel, making us all speak different languages to stop us completing our ladder to heaven. Scripture is that ladder, and I think the languages were split. If we all put the scriptures together, the way should become clear. Here are some famous names from scriptures and legends that have the number value of 81, including Gilgamesh, which comes from the Sumerian name Bilgamesh, which is generally translated as "the kinsman is a hero." Gilgamesh is a legendary hero and king of the Sumerian city of Uruk. The Epic of Gilgamesh is a significant Mesopotamian legend that tells the story of Gilgamesh's exploits, including his search for immortality. The epic was written down 700 to 1,000 years after the historical king's reign, and was based on tales that were likely originally passed down orally. King David. The name David comes from the Hebrew word Dawood, which means to love or be beloved. Made up of a dalet, a vav, and a dalet, implying that it is important to be able to receive love as well as give love. It can also be used to refer to an uncle. The name is associated with the biblical figure King David, who is the second king of Israel and is known for his military accomplishments, musical talent, and wise leadership. The Star of David is a symbol usually seen on Jewish flags, and it represents the perfect balance of masculine and feminine energy. Also, it's a two-dimensional form of the 8-pointed 3D star Merkaba, which means chariot of God in Hebrew, and is our vehicle on this planet, our light body. Also, Horus, who is generally thought to have come from the Egyptian god Hur, which means to be far or face. Horus was the Egyptian god of light and the sky, and was often depicted as a falcon-headed deity. He was the son of Osiris and Isis, and was believed to be the rightful heir to the Egyptian throne. Horus was also worshipped as a protector of pharaohs. Horus is an anagram of hours. Hours are measured by looking at where the sun is on the horizon, where Horus is on. And Sekhmet, which comes from the ancient Egyptian word Sekhem, which means power or to be mighty. Sekhmet was the lion-headed killer of the worshippers of Apophis. After killing them all, she got a taste for blood. So Ra tricked Sekhmet into drinking beer dyed with red ochre, which made her drowsy and caused her to stop killing people. Ra then transformed her into Hathor, the goddess of love. Hathor is known as Venus in Latin. Venus is 81. Venus is associated with Tiffany blue. Tiffany, 81, was the first American company to use the British standard for silver, 92%. Silver has an atomic weight of 108, which is 18 when you ignore the zero, and 18 is 81 reversed. Silver is of the moon, and the Divine Mother is often associated with shopping and fashion. Tiffany blue represents a luxury, elegance, and the thrill of finding something rare and exquisite. So many words that share a value with the fool, that reflect an aspect of the fool or the journey. The material links, matter being of the mother, as Mother Earth represents material. Virgo is the 6th star sign, and is an earth sign, depicting the Mother Mary. The Virgin Mary and the glyph for Virgo even looks like a signature for Mary. The Y even looks like a fish, representing the ichthys fish of Jesus. You'll always find the mother with the son. Mother and matter have 6 letters, so does father, create, matrix, Saturn, and Kronos. Kronos is Saturn, who is father time, and time works in either 4s or 6s, 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 2 and 4 is 6. 4 seasons with 6 letters, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. In America, autumn is fall, which is 4 letters. Jupiter is the 4th planet from the Sun. Jupiter is associated with Jesus, as Jesus was a Jew. Ptah is an anagram of path, and Jesus is the way to the Father. Ptah was an ancient Egyptian god known as the Father of Gods, or the Father of Gods and Men. The 4th chakra is the heart chakra. It's green, which is the color of the earth, which is an anagram of heart. Jesus is often depicted with a heart. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which is the 9th sign and sits at the 5 o'clock position. 9 and 5 are mother numbers. The mother is always with the sun. Jupiter also rules Pisces, the fish. Jesus is the fisher of men. Pisces rules the feet, the flipper dippers, and Jesus was known for washing the feet of his followers. Saturn is the 6th planet from the sun. Saturday is the 6th day. Saturn has 6 letters. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, who sits at the 6 o'clock position. Saturn also rules Aquarius alongside Uranus, which is an almost anagram of Saturn if you change the U for a T. Even the word fool starts with an F, which is the 6th letter, and 2 O's, which is the 15th letter, and 1 and 5 is 6. L is 12, which is 2 6s, and 12 means completion, like the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 musical notes on the chromatic scale, 12 hours on a clock face, and El is an old name for God and for Saturn, Ba-El. In mythology, Baal, El, and Saturn are all gods associated with bulls and fertility, and their mythologies have become intertwined over time. The term Baal has been used in Christianity and Islam, sometimes under the form Beelzebub or Baalzebub. In demonological grimoires such as the Lesser Key of Solomon and the Pseudomonarchia Daemonum, Baal is described as a demon with hoarse voice who rules over 66 legions of demons. The L represents the end of the fool's journey, where the fool, after going through 3 stages of matter, manages to see the light and learn the lesson. If you learn to mind the elements, you can elevate, then do it all over again, but with more experience and a higher sense of awareness, which is a we-are-ness, a connectivity to the world around and the spirits therein. Thank you for coming together for this video. I'm talking to both you, the listener, and you, the words that were used in it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.